Disclaimer.
How do you work 40+ hours per week without dying? Find a job you love. Finding a job you love can make all the difference when it comes to working 40+ hours per week without burning out. When you're passionate about what you do, you're more likely to feel fulfilled and motivated even when the work is challenging or demanding. For me, this meant exploring my interests and passions to find a career that aligned with my values and goals. When I first started out, I was working in a job that paid well but didn't provide me with any sense of purpose or satisfaction. I felt like I was just going through the motions and wasn't making any meaningful contributions. Eventually, I realized that I needed to make a change if I wanted to be happy and fulfilled in my work. I spent some time reflecting on my interests and passions and started exploring different careers that aligned with those values. After a lot of research and networking, I eventually landed a job in a field that I was truly passionate about. The work was challenging, but I felt a sense of purpose and fulfillment that I had never experienced before. Now, I'm able to work 40+ hours per week without burning out because I'm doing work that I truly love. I feel motivated and engaged, even when the work is challenging or demanding, because I know that I'm making a meaningful impact. Create a routine. Creating a routine is essential when it comes to working long hours without burning out. When you have a routine in place, you're better equipped to manage your time effectively and stay on track. For me, this meant setting specific work hours, creating a to-do list each day, and prioritizing my most important tasks first. When I first started working long hours, I struggled to stay organized and focused. I would often find myself getting distracted or overwhelmed by the sheer amount of work that needed to be done. Eventually, I realized that I needed to create a routine if I wanted to be successful. I started by setting specific work hours each day and blocking off time on my calendar for important tasks. I also created a to-do list each morning to help me stay focused and organized throughout the day. By prioritizing my most important tasks first, I was able to tackle the most challenging work when I was feeling most focused and alert. Now, my routine is an essential part of my success. I know exactly what I need to accomplish each day, and I have a plan in place to make it happen. This helps me stay focused and productive throughout the day, even when I'm working long hours. Take care of your physical health. Taking care of your physical health is essential when it comes to working long hours without burning out. When you're working long hours, it's easy to neglect your physical health in favor of getting more work done. However, this can lead to burnout and exhaustion over time. For me, taking care of my physical health meant getting regular exercise, eating a healthy diet, and taking breaks throughout the day to stretch or walk around. When I first started working long hours, I was so focused on getting everything done that I neglected my physical health. I would skip meals or grab fast food on the go, and I rarely made time for exercise. Eventually, I realized that I needed to make a change if I wanted to be successful in the long run. I started by making small changes to my diet, like packing healthy lunches and snacks to bring to work. I also started taking breaks throughout the day to stretch or take a short walk. Eventually, I started incorporating exercise into my routine, even if it meant waking up earlier or staying up later to fit it in. Now, taking care of my physical health is a priority. I make time for exercise each day, and I try to eat a healthy diet as much as possible. I also take breaks throughout the day to stretch or walk around, which helps me stay focused and energized. By taking care of my physical health, I'm better equipped to handle the demands of my job without burning out. Practice self-care. Practicing self-care is essential when it comes to working long hours without burning out. When you're working long hours, it's easy to neglect your mental and emotional health in favor of getting more work done. However, this can lead to burnout and exhaustion over time. For me, practicing self-care meant setting boundaries, practicing mindfulness, and prioritizing time for hobbies and social activities. When I first started working long hours, I would often find myself working well into the evening or on weekends. I didn't have any boundaries in place, and I was neglecting my mental and emotional health. Eventually, I realized that I needed to make a change if I wanted to be successful in the long run. I started by setting boundaries around my work hours and making sure to take breaks throughout the day. I also started practicing mindfulness techniques, like meditation or deep breathing, to help me manage stress and anxiety. Additionally, I prioritized time for hobbies and social activities, which helped me recharge and stay motivated. Now, practicing self-care is an essential part of my routine. I prioritize my mental and emotional health, and I make sure to take breaks throughout the day to recharge. By taking care of myself, I'm better equipped to handle the demands of my job without burning out. Seek support. Seeking support is essential when it comes to working long hours without burning out. When you're working long hours, it's easy to feel isolated and overwhelmed. However, having a support system in place can help you manage stress and stay motivated. For me, seeking support meant connecting with coworkers, joining professional organizations, and seeking the advice of mentors and coaches. When I first started working long hours, I felt like I was in it alone. I didn't have anyone to turn to for support or advice, and I felt overwhelmed by the demands of my job. Eventually, I realized that I needed to seek support if I wanted to be successful in the long run. I started by connecting with coworkers and joining professional organizations. This helped me build a network of support and connect with people who understood what I was going through. I also sought the advice of mentors and coaches who helped me navigate challenges and develop new skills. Now, seeking support is an essential part of my success. I know that I have a network of people who can help me manage stress and stay motivated, even when things get tough. By seeking support, I'm better equipped to handle the demands of my job without burning out. Take time off. Taking time off is essential when it comes to working long hours without burning out. When you're working long hours, it's easy to feel like you can't take a break. However, taking time off can help you recharge and come back to work feeling refreshed and motivated. For me, taking time off meant planning vacations, taking mental health days, and disconnecting from work on weekends. When I first started working long hours, I felt like I had to be working all the time. I rarely took time off, and I felt guilty when I did. Eventually, I realized that taking time off was essential if I wanted to be successful in the long run. I started by planning vacations and making sure to take mental health days when I needed them. I also started disconnecting from work on weekends, which helped me recharge and come back to work feeling refreshed. Now, taking time off is an essential part of my routine. I prioritize vacations and mental health days, and I make sure to disconnect from work on weekends to give myself a break. By taking time off, I'm better equipped to handle the demands of my job without burning out. Find meaning in your work. Finding meaning in your work is essential when it comes to working long hours without burning out. When you're working long hours, it's easy to feel like you're just going through the motions. However, finding meaning in your work can help you stay motivated and engaged. For me, finding meaning in my work meant focusing on the impact I was making and connecting with the mission of my organization. When I first started working long hours, I felt like I was just going through the motions. I wasn't passionate about my work, and I didn't feel like I was making a difference. Eventually, I realized that finding meaning in my work was essential if I wanted to be successful in the long run. I started by focusing on the impact I was making and connecting with the mission of my organization. This helped me feel like my work was meaningful and that I was making a difference. I also started looking for opportunities to take on projects or tasks that aligned with my passions and interests. Now, finding meaning in my work is an essential part of my motivation. I focus on the impact I'm making and look for ways to align my work with my passions and interests. By finding meaning in my work, I'm better equipped to handle the demands of my job without burning out. In conclusion, working long hours can be challenging, but it's possible to do so without burning out. By prioritizing your physical, mental, and emotional health, practicing self-care, seeking support, taking time off, and finding meaning in your work, you can stay motivated and engaged even when the demands of your job are high. It's essential to remember that burnout is a real issue, and taking care of yourself should always be a priority. With these strategies in mind, you can work long hours without sacrificing your well-being. You can also watch other videos by going to the channel. I will be pleased if you like them.